Hi everyone, welcome to our latest U of T live stream. My name is Natasha Bielich, Senior Recruitment Officer with U of T, and tonight I am joined by Valine Cardoso. Hi Valine.
Hi.
Valine is the Assistant Registrar of Recruitment, Admission, and Transition at Victoria College, so a little bit of everything. And tonight we're going to talk about life sciences and coming into the Faculty of Arts and Sciences and studying life sciences.
Great.
I think before we get to your questions, we do want to do a little bit of an overview or a timeline for you guys, so what you can expect between now and, let's say, beginning of September.
Okay. So the first thing that you will be receiving in the next couple of months, if you haven't received it already, are emails from your college registrar. So definitely look out for those, and even the faculty, and they will explain how to register for courses and if they're offering any upcoming course advising sessions. So in these emails, usually they'll explain about the calendar and the timetable and how to select courses on our system Acorn and how to log into all of that. So that's something that you'll be expecting to receive either this month or early next month. In July, you're going to start selecting your courses. And so Acorn is a system that we use to actually select your courses. You can log on to Acorn even right now using your what used to be your Join ID and now is called your UTOR ID. You can log on and you can have a look. You can start playing around with it now, and then you can look at the enrollment card on Acorn starting in early July, when all of the information will be updated for the 2017-18 session. On July 21st, you can actually go on there and look at the start time that you have when you can go on to select courses on July 27th. So course selection happens on July 27th, and you will get a specific time for that date as early as July 21st to actually go and select your courses. You can put things in your enrollment cart before then, and then on the 27th go in there and almost check out your enrollment cart so you can actually register or enroll in your courses. In July, in August, you'll receive information about orientation sessions and different ways to get involved. Maybe if you wanted to join a first-year learning community or do a commuter orientation or an actual orientation in September, that will happen in the first week of September. You can register for your orientations and then pay your fees by August 30th. So on your Acorn account, you will have an invoice. Once you register for courses or enroll in courses, it will say how much you owe the university. There is a minimum payment to register. So definitely look out for that number, and you need to pay at least that amount. So if you can pay all of it, great. If not, at least that minimum payment to register. To register for courses, you have to enroll in those courses and then pay your fees, and that means you're registered. That's something that, again, will show up on your Acorn account. And that date is August 30th.
And included in that would be your residence fees if they're living on campus. They'll see all of that in Acorn.
Yeah, so each residence might have a different date to pay their residence fees. It's usually at the end of August or the beginning of September, and there may be a payment plan for the different residences. So you can contact your residence once you find out where you're living and actually get the payment plan for that. So most of them will be uploaded in July, at the end of July, at the beginning of August. So you'll be able to see how much you owe both for tuition and residences. It'll show up on the same invoice on Acorn. And room assignments and things like that will all happen in July as the university is setting up where you're going to be staying for your next academic year.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yes.
It sounds like a lot, but it's kind of spread out enough that students have enough time between academic orientation sessions or information sessions, and even now, like this one, to enrolling in their cart or adding courses to their cart and then actually enrolling in them at the end of July.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of time.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get started with some of the questions here. The first one, I think we answered. When should we start putting courses into our cart in Acorn?
So you can start now. The only issue with that is that we're looking at courses that have happened in the 2016-17 year. So you can play around with Acorn, but that information won't get refreshed until probably the beginning of July, and then it will be truly the information for 2017-18. So again, you can play around with your cart right now, but if you start putting things into your cart, note that the 2017-18 year won't be loaded until probably the beginning of July.
So someone can they load stuff now with the old courses and then just take those courses out when the new 17-18 are?
Yeah. We won't clear your enrollment cart. It just might say that you're in biology lecture 0101, and that's at 9 a.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then this year it might have changed, and that same lecture section is at 10 a.m. instead of 9 a.m., and that's plays with your timetable. So just be careful that you have looked at the different times for that. So if you put in your enrollment card, that you're really putting the true course in your enrollment card. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next question. When can we get the U of T student card? Can it be in August before the start of school?
Yeah, so you can get your student card or your T card anytime between now and even into September. So if you're not in Toronto anytime before September, you can definitely get it in September during your first week of classes, and that will give you access to your email as well, your U of T email, but you can get it as early as now. Just make sure that you have proper documentation. That can all be found on the T card office website. And that includes either proof of citizenship or study permits or permanent residency.
So maybe we can toss up a link in the chat to the T-Card website just to show all of the documentation that you need. Okay, next question. When can we get our course outlines once we've registered for classes? When can we find out the course materials, i.e. textbooks required? Very eager student.
So, a lot of times there are new additions to books, so we always say wait closer to the start of classes, maybe in the first week of classes, to see what materials are required. You will get we call them syllabus, from your professors, usually during the first week of classes again, and they'll go over in the first class, they'll go over your syllabus with you and tell you exactly what you need and what to expect during the course. We do have a system called Blackboard or Portal, which you can access your course material on, and that's where once you're in that class, you'll be able to see any assignments that are due and where you can potentially submit assignments and different things like that. And that's where your syllabus will be loaded as well. And you might be able to get a preview a week or before classes, but usually students will get everything on the first day.
That happened to me in my first week of classes. I had an astronomy class, and I bought all of my textbooks ahead of time, and then the professor changed it in the first week of class, and I was like, no.
I think it's good to wait, and sometimes you can get used books as well, or you could rent your textbooks from the U of T bookstore. So
yeah, there's options, but you don't need to start your readings now.
No.
Yeah, don't worry about that yet. Okay, next question. How is access to course registration granted? Is it marks based or a free for all? And I'm kind of gonna maybe throw some context around that question, because I think they're asking maybe A, who gets priority in what classes, and then B, is there a certain criteria for who gets to enroll in courses at 7 a.m. versus 10 a.m. versus 1 p.m. on that particular day?
Okay, I understand. The way that it's set out is that course registration happens all on the one day for that year. We break it up between humanities, social sciences, life sciences, computer science, and commerce, or the other sciences and then commerce. There are, so usually depending on the time, you're usually going in with the rest of the people that you got. So if everyone in the life science will go in at the same time, same with humanities, and social sciences will go in at the same time. Students in certain streams, so if you're, let's say, in the math and physical sciences stream, you have priority to certain courses, so you'll have priority to physics and math. With the life science courses, you'll have priority to biology, calculus, and chemistry. So you will have priority in the classes that you need to get into. So even if you found that your start time is 3 p.m., it's probably all of the life science students are around 3 p.m. And that's to give the courses to the so it's a little bit complicated. If you wanted to do, let's say, English and the life sciences, English students, so humanities students will go first, so they have their priorities for English, and then you can come in as a life science student, and if there's any space left in English, you can take an English course, but you have priority on your life science courses. They can't come in and take yours.
That makes sense, because we want you to get into the courses that you need to take in first year in order to continue on in those programs.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. How do I change my program after first year? Can a student change their program after first year?
Yes. So you only select your program after first year. So you don't declare a program of study until after first year. So when you're admitted, even if you selected, again, human biology as the program that you were coming into, we admitted you into the life sciences, which are a very general program. You can take biology, chemistry, calculus, and that gets you into almost all of the life science programs. Some of them are more competitive than others. You need certain grades, or you need to do an interview or some kind of written thing, and that will get you into a certain program. So if you came in wanting to do human biology and wanted to change your mind and do either English or neuroscience, you can still do that after first year, and that's when you actually declare your program of study, because you might come in thinking you want to do one thing and then be really good at something else and want to change.
So whatever a student put as their subject of major interest on the OUAC application doesn't really matter.
No.
It was
no.
the program area that we admitted a student
Exactly.
to. Yeah. Okay. Could we go over some options in first year, including the ONES programs, first year learning communities, which you mentioned already briefly, and 199 courses? What are the differences between those?
So they're all, well, they're not all actually, but the ONES programs are community-based, smaller community-based courses in your first year that you can take. Some of them are 0.5 credits, and others can be as many as 2 full credits in your first year, with a co-requisite. So it depends on which program that you get into. You can apply to a ONE program. I think the applications are still open, so you can definitely try to apply to one of the ONE programs that might sound interesting to you. But it really is meant to foster a sense of community in your first year, in your classes. They're taught by full professors, and it's sponsored by a college. The 199s are very similar. They're offered by the Faculty of Arts and Science, so not necessarily sponsored by a college. Again, with full professors, 25 students or less in your class. And the ONES program function as more like a program, so it could be 0.5 credits or 1 full credit or 2 credits. And they all is meant to be part of the ONE program. Is the 199, they're just courses.
Like electives, kind of?
Yeah, they're like an elective course that you can take. You know, there's one on vampires or puzzles and things like that. And then the first year learning communities, or FLICs for short, they are not they're not course based. You don't get credit for it. You just it's a smaller community where you get to meet people and do similar things. In say if you're in a life science FLIC, you'd be going to museums, going to labs, and really getting mentors in your first year that also did the science program. So you have somebody to talk to and ask questions, who's a peer.
Did you say there was a class on puzzles?
Yes.
Is it taught by Marcel Denisi?
It is.
I love him.
Yeah.
If you have a chance to take a total non sequitur plug, if you have a chance to take a class with Marcel Denisi, he was one of my favorite profs at U of T.
Oh yeah, mine too.
Yeah. Did you have a class with him?
I did an anthropology class with him.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
The pop culture class?
I don't know if it was pop culture. I think it was on languages.
Oh, mine was total pop culture.
Yeah.
It was
No,
great.
and he's fun because he does he teaches semiotics, which is the science of signs and symbols, and he has a band called the Semiotones. So it's
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So that class is actually a Vic 100 class. They function like the 199 classes, but they're offered by Vic and they're sponsored by Vic. But yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I would totally take it. Okay. Next question. What are your suggestions for things to do or prepare before July and overall before school starts in September?
So I would definitely make sure that you're looking at the calendar and the timetable. And I guess I'll just talk quickly about the differences. The calendar is where all of the courses that we offer in the Faculty of Arts and Science, it's all listed in there. The descriptions are in there. You have the degree requirements that we offer for your degree. All of the programs and the requirements are listed in the calendar as well. And it functions as literally like a manual for Faculty of Arts and Science of what you can take and what grades you need and things like that. And the timetable tells you when those courses are offered, and who's teaching them and where they're going to be located. I forgot the first question. Oh, and what should you be doing before July? So I would definitely get familiar with those 2 materials, and if you find that you have questions after reading through them, you can contact your college registrar's office, and this should all be done before course enrollment, and so the sooner the better. The better prepared you'll be for course enrollment to get the classes that you need and that you want, so that you can enroll in your program of study in after first year. And then I would definitely suggest registering for orientation. So each college does an orientation, and it's I think it's 3 days this year, and it's very big and very well organized, and it really allows you to meet other students. And so I think that's one of the main things that I would suggest that you would do before September, so that you can get into orientation in September.
And those are generally like fun activities. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Just like meeting new people and getting familiar with campus, and yeah.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Is it possible, this might be a little specific, or maybe not. Is it possible to do a double major with life sciences and another program in the same department? Say, for example, life sciences and criminology. Those may be in different departments?
Yeah, a department. Yeah, so departments are. Life science is not a department. Life science is it's a stream of study here at U of T. And so within life sciences, you have neuroscience, human biology, cell and systems, ecology and evolution. So there are different departments here. You can do, depending on the how different those majors are, you can potentially do, there is an overlapping policy, and you can read more about that in the calendar, but there is an overlapping policy. There can't be too many courses that overlap between your programs. Criminology is a different department. It's actually a different stream of study altogether, but yes, you can do criminology and, let's say, neuroscience, which is in the life science program. So you could potentially do that. You could do science and English. You could do a life science program and physics. Yeah. Drama. Yeah.
Anything almost.
Any kind of combination. I did biology, French studies, and sociology. So.
I did human biology, biological anthropology, and environmental anthropology.
Yeah.
But there was enough difference between those two anthropology programs that I could count them both.
Yeah.
So there's lots of flexibility. And I think if you have any questions, even throughout your first year, on what kind of options you have for yourself after your first year, then chatting with you guys in the registrar's office is the best way to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Can we go over electives? I guess we mentioned them, but then didn't really talk about what they were, and how many are required, and breadth courses, and how many of those are required.
Okay, so in your degree, so when we say, I mean, maybe we'll use it interchangeably, but we have courses and credits. And so courses we usually refer to as one course, and a course can be a full year credit, or it can be a half year credit, or full year course, or a half year course, and they're weighted differently. So full year course spans the full 8 months, so September to April, and a half course would either be September to December or January to April. And you need 20 credits to graduate. So again, a full year course would be 1 full credit, and a half year course is 0.5 credits, and you need 20 credits to graduate. Within those credits, you have to do either a specialist or major, 2 majors, or a major and 2 minors. So depending on your combination, that would depend on how many courses you need in your programs to count towards your degree. And anything outside of that, students usually call like elective courses, or courses outside of your programs of study. So you can really take anything that has extra interest to you. Within the 20 credits to graduate, you do need to fulfill what we call breadth requirements, and they're categories that we have set out to describe where a certain course falls. So if you take physics is usually a breadth category 5, and it falls under the mathematical and physical universe, and that's breadth category 5. So if you're taking physics, that would be considered a breadth category 5, and you would be fulfilling that requirement. So we do have 5 breadth categories. It's a little bit hard to explain on this live stream, but it is detailed in the calendar. There are 5 categories. You only have to fulfill 4 out of the 5 categories, 4 full credits in the 5, or 3 full credits and then 2 halves in the other 2. And you can do any combination of them, but you do have to fulfill those requirements, and it has to be within your degree, not every single year.
Yes, you can take all 4 years to fulfill
complete
those.
Yeah, exactly.
And do you find that a lot of students get those breadth requirements satisfied by their program anyway? Or how, would they be they could potentially take a couple of classes or courses outside of it?
Some programs definitely try their best to get as many as they can within that program. So I would say maybe like a maximum of 3 would be in each not in each program, usually it's 1 or 2, and some ones will go out of the way to give you like English with some kind of statistics in there, and that would satisfy a third one. So you might have to get out of your program to satisfy them, and the 1 programs and the 199s, those are great options to take to satisfy your breadth requirements, because it usually ends up being, a lot of students find that it's more challenging if you're in the life sciences to take something that might require a lot of analysis of text, in, like, you know, if you're reading Frankenstein, for example, and it might be a little bit difficult for you. So doing that in a small class seminar style course is really beneficial, because you can ask the professor a lot more questions, and you can do that in a 500-person lecture, but it's easier when it's only 25 and the professor already knows your name to ask those kinds of questions to your professor and the students around you that are studying the same material.
See, I was thinking of the reverse. Like, is an English student going to have to take chemistry?
So you could, the way that to get around that is, well, there is an astronomy course. I mean, there's a few courses like that at U of T, but an astronomy course that you can take that is geared towards students who study in the humanities. But also you could do a course in the 199s that kind of try to fit they know that that's what the kind of the goal is, that you're doing a science course, but you're probably more of an English student, and they gear those courses towards those types of students.
And I feel like the purpose of the breadth requirement is to just expose a student to the different options and program areas and topics across a university, versus like having you come in and strictly do a science program and not have that breadth as part of your program.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And that's, again, why I got into French studies and sociology, because I had to fill the humanities, and then I ended up taking a humanities program, and I had to fill the social sciences, so I took a social science program, and that's how I ended up with the 3 different, essentially, areas of study.
Yeah. No, it's good. It exposes you to a lot of different areas. Yeah. Okay. And how many credits do I need to complete in my first year?
So 20 credits to graduate. We usually say 5 full credits for 4 years will get you the 20 credits to graduate. Not everyone does 5. Some people do 4, and that's up to them, or they might do more or less. 5 credits is usually 100% course load, so anything more than that is over 100% course load. Anything less, obviously, is less than that. It's 80% if you do 4. So to stick to 100% course load, it's 5, but you have flexibility with that. We don't recommend, although students can, we don't recommend them students doing more than 5 credits.
And so, I mean, 5 credits just kind of makes sense, because 5 times 4 years is your 4-year degree at the university.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. I think you kind of went over this a little bit already. What is the difference between a specialist and a major at U of T? Is it just more required course credits?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a specialist you need, a specialist is when you know a lot about one subject area, so a lot of your degree will be focused on that area. A major is so less of that, less focused, but still you know a lot about one subject area, and be require you to do either 1 specialist or 2 majors, so you would know a lot about 2 different areas. And then a minor is less, is even less, so you've just kind of touched the surface of something, but you haven't really dug deep like a specialist would take you.
The way that I sometimes explain it to students, and you can correct me if it's not a good way to say it, but I usually say, like, a specialist is almost the equivalent sometimes of doing kind of 3/4 of your degree in one area. So you're really focusing, like, you're taking more credits in that area, you're really specializing in that topic. A major is doing like roughly half of the credits you need to graduate, so you can do half in something else, and you can do a double major. Or a minor is maybe like roughly 1/4 of the credits you need to graduate. So you maybe take 1 credit a year in an area, just touching on the surface of the subject.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
It's
so
like pretty general.
Yeah,
but
it depends on your program. So some specialists are 10 credits and some require 14 credits, so anywhere in between. So yeah, so like being very general, it's just you're very knowledgeable about one subject area.
You're specializing in
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
It's kind of self-explanatory that one. Okay, I think we had a lot of very similar questions. And I think maybe just before we go, we might want to do the little timeline that we did at the beginning of the session, in case some people joined us after we started. So maybe what students can expect both from the registrars and over the summertime between now and September.
Okay, so in the next month, you will receive communications from the faculty in your registrar's office letting you know how to select courses and what you can expect over the summer. They will be also advertising any course enrollments or course selection, advising sessions that they may be offering over the summer. So if you can make those, great, and if not, a lot of the information is online, and if you can't find it or you still need some more help, you can contact your college registrar's office, and that's happening now in June and July. July 27th is when you actually select your courses, so make sure that you're logging in on July 27th to select your courses. You can find out at what time, so everybody has a different time that they can log on, and you can find out that time as early as July 21st, so you know where you need to be on July 27th at what time selecting your courses. I would start putting things in your enrollment card anytime in July, and then registering for orientation and things like that can happen all in July and August. And then August 30th is the date that you need to pay your minimum payment to register for courses by August 30th, and that amount is found on your invoice on Acorn. And then classes start in September.
It's an exciting time of year.
Yeah.
I remember when I was looking at courses for my first year, which was a long time ago, but it was like, oh my God, I have so many options. Like, I got so excited looking at how many different courses and areas of study you can do. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot. U of T has a lot to offer, so yeah.
So maximize it. Take advantage of everything that we offer. Speaking of advertising things over the summertime, we are having another session tomorrow for students who are looking to study the humanities and social sciences or who have been admitted to those areas. So if you have any questions specifically related to the arts programs at U of T within the Faculty of Arts and Science, you can tune in tomorrow, which is Thursday, June 8th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you have any additional questions about humanities, social sciences, feel free to join us tomorrow. Otherwise, thanks, Wileen, for joining us today.
And thanks for hosting.
Yeah, well, we'll see you guys next time. Good luck. Enjoy your research. Happy researching. And we'll see you next time.